I can't remember another moment quite like this.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
In modern identity politics, Black Americans are often portrayed as helpless or incapable, especially when it comes to something as basic as getting an ID to vote. That idea isn't compassionate, it's patronizing. It assumes Black people can't think or act independently and need white liberals to make choices on their behalf, casting them as automatic moral authorities. In this framework, being Black is reduced to permanent victimhood, waiting for rescue. Despite how insulting that narrative is, many voters continue to support Democrats at overwhelming rates, partly because this victim label has been pushed for so long that it feels normal. That's why the exchange between Don Lemon, a wealthy media figure, and Morgan Freeman stands out. Freeman shuts down the victim talking point with calm clarity, exposing how hollow it sounds when used by someone with power and privilege. Before getting into that moment, remember to like and subscribe. We'll start with Freeman's famous explanation of why he opposes Black History Month.
Black History Month you find ridiculous.
Why? You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
All right, I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Hit like if you think this moment matters. I'm with Morgan Freeman, and so are many confident Black Americans. In this country, the idea that we are defined as victims doesn't hold up. I don't oppose Black History Month, but I agree with Freeman's reasoning. Setting aside a single month quietly suggests the rest of the year doesn't count. What's meant to be welcoming can end up separating, as if American history and Black history are two different stories.
Me? Yeah.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge General Hospital.
There you go. Louisiana. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here. But here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Well, everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this. So they won't.
That same problem shows up in today's habit of treating Black people as fragile victims. It's framed as empathy, and that made sense in another era. Today, it doesn't match reality. The United States has had a Black president. Black Americans serve as Supreme Court justices, governors, mayors, members of Congress. They are business leaders, athletes, artists, doctors, and engineers. Success exists across every field, yet some still look us in the eye and insist we're victims because of skin color, claiming no amount of achievement can overcome something they call privilege. That line echoes the past.
I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're if you can conceive it in your mind.
If you can think of it, you can do it. That's the human condition. If we can imagine it, we can do it.
Right. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't?
Today?
Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. it's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. You know, I said, it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue.
When bigots argued that wealth or accomplishment didn't matter because race decided everything. Different words, same message. That's why the exchange hit so hard. Morgan Freeman's calm, self-assured perspective collided with Don Lemon's posture of vulnerability, and the contrast said more than any argument could.
But it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it. I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem there.
Black Americans who firmly believe their race does not block success in the greatest country on earth are often given a label by both white liberals and some within the black community. White liberals push back because they want you to stay in a narrow role they've chosen for you. Some black critics respond with hostility because they've tied themselves to a political mindset that treats dependence as loyalty. In that view, skin color becomes an unbreakable ceiling, and America is framed as a place where we never truly belong. Confidence threatens that story. That's why it sparks anger. Morgan Freeman touched on the same idea when he questioned Black History Month. People of different races came to the New World together. Some arrived in chains, others freely, but all of those experiences are woven into the country's foundation. This is our history, not a separate chapter. When politicians insist this is not our country, they strip Black Americans of a shared identity. That confusion feeds instability in modern Black culture. The victim label is tempting because it feels safe. It brings sympathy and lowers expectations. If you fail, the system is blamed. If you succeed, you're praised for overcoming it. Either way, personal responsibility fades into the background. Figures like Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and even Don Lemon earn millions speaking on national television, yet still present themselves primarily as victims. Their success is treated as heroic, while the long reality, years of errors, effort, and growth is ignored. Real progress comes from self-examination after setbacks. When every mistake is blamed on institutions, people are robbed of the chance to improve. If effort, discipline, and persistence are said to be pointless because of skin color, why even try? This mindset shows up in politics too. Despite most Black Americans supporting voter ID laws, Democrats often argue those laws are unfair by suggesting Black voters are incapable of getting identification. At a rally in Atlanta, Kamala Harris brought a pop star on stage, assuming entertainment alone would secure votes. Jimmy Kimmel suggested there is only one correct way for Black people to think, attacking Nicki Minaj online for supporting. When independent thought breaks away from the group, outrage follows. That's how we end up with scenes like white activists in Minneapolis confronting a Black ICE agent at his own home, anger triggered not by oppression, but by the refusal to fit a prescribed role.
Yeah, families should be ripped apart by kind of energy. Like we should rip people apart from their families.
Are you a man?
Wow, is that a question?
Wow.
Okay. People don't ripping people from their families. Is that okay?
How sir, I need to move. How where's your KKK?
Why are you calling a woman a man? I mean, what kind of a guy does that?
He's fucking high sugar bitch.
They reacted the way they did because, deep down, they still see America as a white country. In their eyes, that Black federal officer represented a government he supposedly didn't belong to. That belief, whether admitted or not, is rooted in the same racial thinking they claim to oppose. Many liberals have built their identity around the idea that Black people are permanently oppressed. Once that belief is locked in, no amount of evidence can shake it. Not success, not representation, not even the election of a Black president. So when a Black American openly sees themselves as part of this nation and its institutions, it sparks anger. To them, that confidence feels like a betrayal of their compassionate worldview. They insist skin color doesn't define a person, yet they react harshly when a Black individual refuses to see themselves as excluded. If you don't accept their version of moral superiority, they assume you're trying to impress the system rather than thinking for yourself. In other words, agreeing with them is framed as awareness. but disagreeing is treated as disloyalty. Because they quietly assume America belongs to white people, they treat situations like this as if someone is out of place. In their worldview, a black federal officer represents a country he supposedly shouldn't serve. That belief isn't progressive, it's racial thinking dressed up as compassion. The same mindset shows up with immigration enforcement. A large share of ICE agents and more than half of Border Patrol officers are Hispanic. Yet some Democrats act as if these individuals are betraying their own people. That idea only works if all Hispanics are flattened into one category. Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Colombians, Ecuadorians, and Venezuelans all have different histories and identities. But to the smug white liberal, they're simply brown. So they must think alike, value the same things, and want the same outcomes. They deny being racist while grouping dozens of cultures into a single box. Historically, most migrants at the southern border were Mexican, many with families who've lived in the U.S. for generations. Large-scale migration from Central and South America is more recent. Yet the same emotional tactic is used to pressure Black Americans into supporting unrelated causes, like defending illegal Somali fraudsters, under the assumption that all brown people share the same story. That ignores basic facts. Somalis don't even identify the same way as other African groups, just as Nigerians, Ghanaians, and Congolese see themselves as distinct. The same thinking can't explain why Pakistan recently sent back over 1 million Afghan refugees, because to this worldview, they're all identical. When reality breaks these assumptions, frustration follows. These stereotypes are kept alive to protect egos and fuel the fantasy of being the heroic white savior, swooping in to rescue the helpless minority. And sadly, many Black Americans have learned to accept this label because it offers comfort. It explains mistakes without demanding growth. But real strength comes from accepting responsibility. Your place in this country, your abilities, your limits, and the risk that comes with betting on yourself. Saying the system stopped me is like blaming a referee for losing a game you never controlled. Winners don't leave the outcome that close. That's why Morgan Freeman shut Don Lemon down for even suggesting it. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. See you soon.